Alright, this service call, we're going to install a brand new Retrofit DC motor in Evergreen. I do recommend these. I have one in my own house. I went from permanent split capacitor to an Evergreen, and my DC Evergreen has not stopped running in 7 years. I highly recommend this motor for airflow issues. It's one of the best retrofits on the market to change over from permanent split capacitor to DC variable speed. It is a fixed variable speed, so it does have speed taps, so you decide on which speed you want it depending on temp rise and static pressure, you know, air conditioning size, or temp drop on where you set the motor up. And we'll kind of run you through it today, going from this permanent split capacitor motor, which is a standard motor on most furnaces. Well, it used to be. Now variable speed is pretty much standard on most furnaces, but we'll kind of take you through the steps of getting one of these things hooked up. It's pretty straightforward in the directions. It's not very hard. Let me get this one out, and we'll get that other one back in. Also, while I have this thing apart, I'm gonna clean this blower housing out. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. The wheel's dirty, so I'll get all that cleaned up before I put it back together. Let me clean it up. You can see all the dirt coming off this blower wheel. It's pretty much, it's caked on there pretty good. It's pretty nasty. So all I'm doing is using coil cleaner, foaming coil cleaner, and it does a really good job of taking all that stuff off of there. And you can see in here, I got a little coil cleaner in the face that burns. And it's pure black coming out of there. Let me finish up. And here we are. We got the blower wheel cleaned up. As you can see, all that coil cleaner took all that stuff off of there. Nice and clean in there. I'm just doing this outside because there's no light in the basement, and I will try to get some footage on wiring it up because there's no light in the basement. So we got this cleaned up. I'm just waiting for a motor mount to get out here. They didn't send me with a motor mount, so. And while I'm waiting, I'll kind of go through the directions and get this thing unpackaged. And start up in a minute. Alright, depending on your application, you notice here, this is the sticker you put on the furnace when you get done with it, just letting someone know that this has been installed. And it doesn't say on the sticker, but this motor can be used for 230 and 115. So we're using it on 115. 230 would be your air handler, so we have to put the appropriate plug in there. It says yellow plug 230, white plug 115. So it does come in a supplied package. The plugs look like this. That's how the plugs look. So, and they're also labeled 230, 115. So we need the 115 plug, so we're going to put it in here. Right, like so. Now it comes with a wiring harness. Here's my low voltage wiring harness, here's my high voltage. So we got high power neutral and my signal wires here. Line 1, line 2, so my plug will go in like so. Then this is numbered 2, 1 through 5. You can't really see it on camera, but it's there. And we're going to plug that in there. And then what we'll do is we'll get the motor mount on there, and then we'll get this thing all tidied into place. Alright, we got the motor mounted in here. Look and see. Now we got our signal wires. That's our signal wires. That's coming from our motor taps. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. But actually I have to tie these two together. I have to cut those ends off, tie them to some pigtails. This provides main power. So this motor has power all the time. When that furnace is on, it has power. So that's a hot and a neutral. And then these are my motor tap wires. Okay, so blue is my common, and I got 4 different speeds. Yellow's high. I can't remember which one's which, but I know yellow's high. So we got everything zip tied up. You want to put this on the bottom in case you get motor or water dripping down the motor. It won't damage the motor head. It'll possibly damage it, but this is what we have to do. My messy truck. I got 3. I got a high, a low, or a heat and a cool, and I got a continuous fan speed. So I need these 3 wires. So what we have to do is we took out a 3rd horsepower motor. So I'm putting in a 1/2 horsepower motor, and it's got different speeds you can run, or different horsepowers you can run it at. We're going to do this one, 1/2 horsepower motor, and we're going to make it a 1/2 3rd horsepower. I took a 3rd horsepower out. We're going to get a little more airflow out of this. Also, with that 1/2 horsepower motor, you can run it as a 3rd quarter horse, where you cap the red wire off and you just run the black wire to your motor taps, you know, your speeds, your cooling speeds, and you can run it as 1/4 5th horse. I don't know why you would ever do that, but that means you tie the red wire to your pigtail wires, and I'll show you how to do that. But this is the one we're going to use today. We're going to go 1/2 3rd horsepower. Okay, and the other one over here is 1 horsepower motor. You get 3/4 or 1 horse out of it. So we're going to tie these black wires together, black and red, and also we're going to throw these in that wire nut too, and I'll show you how it hooks up to the furnace. And that's how we got our wires hooked up. Tie those 3 pigtails into the red and black wire. That's my signal wire. And I need a little tape on that one. Or maybe I need a bigger wire nut. But I'll either get a wire nut or some tape on that. But I wanted to shoot most of this outside so you can actually see. Really, I can't do too much down in the basement. I'll try, but go from there. Because it's just so darn dark. Okay, well, let's go down to the basement. Okay, these ones I tied together right here. Here are my speed taps. Right here. I got cooling, heating, fan. So I'm going to plug a lead on each one. These are my signal wires. Okay, so that gives me 1/2 horsepower on my signal wires right there. And I got to provide high voltage power, so I'm going to take this neutral and I'll run it up here. And neutral goes there. My high voltage power is here. So I'm going to need a different connector because that's not going to work in there. Let me go out and run it and get a different connector. So I got my different connector on there, so take the high power here. Okay, hold on. Door switch in. Okay, now we got our speed taps. Like I said, you need a common wire, and the yellow wire is high. And then I'm putting my fan on medium low, just to get a little more. The guys complain about not enough airflow. So we'll do that really quick, and I'll show you how this motor tries to find its own direction. It might run in reverse, but then it straightens its own self out, and it runs in the right direction depending on the static pressure. Okay, we'll see if this fan finds its own direction. It usually does. So let me start this thing up. I'm pretty sure I'm in air conditioning mode right now, so let's see. So now it's running reverse, and what it'll do is straighten itself out. See, it ran reversed at first, and now what it'll do, it didn't sense any static, so now it's going to run the right way. So this motor has auto, it finds its rotation. I have no way to change the rotation on this motor, it finds it by itself. So that's installing Evergreen motor, that's pretty much it. So remember, you got your signal wires, your low voltage wire, and your high voltage wire, and that motor has high voltage all the time. So this one's done. This is on a little Bryant, I think this is 70,000 BTUs an hour. It's a 3-ton drive, 70,000 BTUs an hour. So, this one's done. Like and subscribe. Thanks, man.